don't be afraid of mistakes. Don't hide from mistakes. Don't think there's a CEO out there who hasn't made tons of mistakes. They all do. I've made them all. I'm Ben Gillam. I'm the founder and CEO of Thirdway, or Thirdway Group as we're now known. Thirdway Group is a number of companies. We work in commercial real estate offices, predominantly in London and the Southeast. We design offices with interior designers, with architects, with furniture consultants and workplace consultants. And then we go through and deliver those offices as well. So we have project managers, QSs in-house. We have techies in-house who build technology platforms to monitor those spaces and communicate with the people who use them. That group is about 250 people who predominantly all based on site in London, and we turn over about £100 million a year. I was born in Camberwell and I've lived near Camberwell all my life. Like I've stayed in London through school, through university and through my professional career. I didn't come from sort of like a typical background that leads to a CEO. Like, I don't know if necessarily is a typical background, but certainly growing up, I wouldn't have said I was from that typical background. My parents both lived on a council estate in Camberwell, just off of John Ruskin Street. And that's where they met. They were both from sort of single parent families, quite broken homes. They got together very young. They decided to get married and have 9 children. So I'm number 2 of 9. So I guess responsibility came to me quite early in that. I guess what I'd say about my parents is they were like really, really focused on working hard. Like they had a really good work ethic. They were aspirational. They sort of moved us to sort of a nicer area just up the road. We had a house to grow up in, although it was a crazy house, as you can imagine, with 11 people living in it. So like, I think growing up in inner cities, but particularly Southeast London, like you become savvy. Like you are streetwise. You read body language incredibly well. You know if someone's got an agenda in the room. You can smell threats a mile away. Like these are all great social skills. In fact, I would say if you're from Southeast London or another like-minded urban area, you actually have advantages in the commercial world. If you get there, they will just naturally come out and push you ahead of the game. And the other thing that you have is you're just used to diversity of people. People of different races, people of different faiths, people of different backgrounds, people of different financial standing. It's just natural. You're going to just spend time with all of those different types of people. And that's just like really invaluable. And you don't realize how unique it is. Like most people in the UK don't have that kind of mixture of people that they get to associate with. And again, as you go into the corporate world, the business world, the working world, whatever it is, those skills and those personality types that you can just read so well just really come into their own and actually are a huge advantage for progressing in your career. The reality is that I think most young people know sort of messing about, not getting grades, not having prospects, like isn't really the way to go. But sometimes it's just harder to push against the crowd. And I think for me, there was an element of fortune that the friendship group that would have stopped me from doing what my natural instinct was, which was, hey, get some grades, get some prospects, take this seriously, fell away. And I got to choose. And, actually everyone gets to choose. Like, but perhaps I didn't have to be as brave as I would have had to have been. And what I can say in later life is this. I've never met anyone who has said to me, I wish I had less qualifications. I've met people who've told me they wish they had more. Hundreds of people who tell me they wish they'd spent more time studying and taken school more seriously. I've never met a single person who has said, I wish I had less. And I guess I just got to that point where I realized, look, if I'm going to do this, like I might as well get something out of it. And that was the piece. And those people, like I probably had reservations at the time about the type of people they were. I was probably quite judgmental, but actually they've gone on to be sort of great friends in later life. And we don't see as much of each other now, but when we do, we do have that sort of real camaraderie around that period of time together where we were grown as adults and we grew academically, and to a certain extent we were all there for each other in that period as well, even if we didn't realise it at the time. Unquestionably, and I can guarantee to everyone that goes on throughout life. Like, that doesn't stop when you're 16, 17, 18. Throughout life, like your friendship group constantly evolves, and some people drop away, new people come in. And what's really key is that you don't let people hold you back. Like, you don't let peer pressure or like people with low expectations like dictate what you're going to do with your life. And like, that's the best advice I could give anyone. It's like, if people have got low aspirations, low expectations, and they're holding you back, respectfully find a way to spend less time with them. Like, it doesn't mean there aren't opportunities where you enjoy spending time with them, but push yourself forward, have more aspiration, because it really pays dividends later down the line. I wasn't one of those people who ever got fanatical about something. I didn't really have like a passion, and I would say, like, I found one now, but like, that was never a thing for me. Like, I loved sport, I loved playing football. I'd throw myself into things, but I never sort of had that end goal that I'm working towards this. And I think as I was coming sort of out of university, that sort of had quite a big impact on me, because I was like, well, what am I going to do with my life? I wasn't worried that I was going to fall by the wayside per se, but equally, I didn't have sort of any target to sort of aim myself at, or couldn't see an avenue where my skill sets, I didn't even know what my skill sets were, like, would be recognised and would be valued and would materialise into progression. And I like, looking back, for me, that was probably the biggest kind of challenge I had. It sort of came as I was leaving university, and as I finished my legal studies and knew practicing law was not going to be for me. If you want to ask me that specific question, because I've always said to people, and but I found there's two types of people when it comes to passion. Yeah. There's people who work for their passion, and there's people who are passionate about their work. Like, I'm someone who's passionate about my work. Like, I don't think it was like, I didn't know design and build and architecture and commercial real estate was going to be my passion, but I knew I was incredibly proud about what I did and wanted to do well. And then in doing that, I've learned about that industry and become passionate about it. And I think that would have been applicable to any industry. Some people I know wanted to be a lawyer from the age of 5, wanted to be an architect from the age of 5. Like, congratulations to them. I'm very delighted for them. But my experience is that is not the norm. Like, the norm is you find something, you realise you're good at it, other people recognise you're good at it, and over a period of 3 years, you start to master it and become passionate about it. And that's what I would say to any young person. It's like, find something that you enjoy, find something that you are good at, find something that other people see that you're good at. And it's amazing how quickly passion flows from there. It's a good question. I love what I do. It probably goes back to my GCSEs, where I got loads of B's and nothing else. I feel I'm a good all-rounder. So the advantage of being a CEO is you get to interact with loads of different people, loads of different departments, and you have a really great overview of everything within the business. I mean, that's your job. So you get to understand what's going on in the financial world. You get to understand the project delivery, the design, the sales machine, what your clients are thinking, what your industry peers are thinking. So it's really incredibly varied, and you get to sort of dive into things, learn about things really quickly, and then step out of them as well. So I really enjoy that piece. CEOs make mistakes all the time. Honestly, people in the 10 years I've run a business, I've done the SME journey, 0 people to 250 people, £0 to 100 million pounds. It's like the whole small, medium enterprise journey. I've made every single mistake along the way. And if I'd ever sort of drop my resilience and let them those mistakes compound, I would have fallen over a long time ago. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Don't hide from mistakes. Don't think there's a CEO out there who hasn't made tons of mistakes. They all do. I've made them all. Like, have resilience when you make that mistake, learn from it, communicate, ask for support, and like you'll get through it. I would just say, like, you know, for me, like, it wasn't a given that I was going to be a business owner and a CEO. No way. It was not a given, from my background, from my schooling, from my education, all those things. But actually, what was a given was I applied myself in the right way. And I took the right approach to work, and I immersed myself in what I did. And like, they're the things that pushed me through, and they're the things I'd encourage everyone to look to do.